Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today on our 2019 Ford Ranger, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt 7-way vehicle wiring harness. But before we do that, why don't we check it out and make sure that this is something that's going to work for you. So with these Rangers being pretty capable trucks, you know, a lot of people are going to be out there doing some relatively heavy towing with them. And the majority of these Rangers aren't going to come from the factory equipped with a 7-way round type connector, but not really a big deal if your truck doesn't have one. You can easily add one. Essentially, they just plug in for the most part, so really simple and straightforward. But what this is going to allow you to do is hook up to those little bit larger trailers that have this type of connector plug and power up the lights and everything else on them. This is also going to allow you to run a brake controller. So in our case today, we're not putting a brake controller in our truck, but this is something you definitely need to be able to do that in the first place. One of the brake controllers that I like, if this is what you're doing it for, is the Curt Echo. It's completely wireless. It just plugs right into here. You download an app on your phone, and that's really all there is to it. So it's a pretty neat device. You can put it on any vehicle that has a 7-way. So, you know, in the future, if you end up selling your truck or getting a new one, you can hold on to that and use it for your next vehicle. So just something to think about. As far as the construction of this goes, how it's built, Curt's came a long way. Everything's made really nice, and you know, it should hold up for quite some time. So this is going to have a spring-loaded cap, and that way when you're not using it, it stays closed, and you know, dirt and other junk isn't going to get inside there and tear everything up. There is a catch on the bottom of the cap there. That way when something's plugged in, it's going to hold on to it and prevent it from accidentally coming disconnected. And I do want to point out that these brackets aren't going to come with the wiring kit. You will have to grab them separately, but you know, if that's something that you want to do, you can grab the brackets right here at etrailer. I'm using a no-drill long bracket and then just a 7-way bracket to fix this to the hitch and get it secure. Something that I do want to mention too, I believe all of these Rangers come equipped with a factory 4-way flat connector like that one there. And if yours has it, you're still going to be able to use it too, so this is still going to work. So you kind of get the best of both worlds here. Even though you installed your 7-way, you're still going to be able to have your 4-way flat connector to hook up to smaller trailers and things like that. Other than that though, really simple, straightforward kit. As far as the installation goes, it's more or less just going to plug right in to a factory connector. You will have to ground one wire to the frame, route it over, and set up your bracket and hook up your 7-way connector there. So really shouldn't take you a ton of time or really give you too many issues. But speaking of that, why don't we go ahead and hook it up together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our truck, and first thing that I'm going to do is mount up our 7-way connector plug here. Got a couple of choices. I'm going to use these brackets to mount it up. So these brackets don't come included with it, but you can grab them here at etrailer. This is a no-drill long bracket and then just your 7-way bracket there. There's another way you can mount this up too. I'll show you that in a minute, but we'll take care of this first. Just slide that through, take our hardware, and get it started. So this is what the bracket will look like and your connector will look like once it's secured up. Some people like to go up here. There's a kind of an outline here where a factory 7-way would go. You can use a hole saw to drill the hole out and mount your connector up there too if that's something you were looking to do. So now moving right underneath our truck on the driver's side frame rail, we're going to have this electrical connector and we need to disconnect it. So you can push down on that tab there, split the two apart, and now we can grab our new wiring harness. And this is simply just going to tee into it, so one end of the connector will get plugged in. And the other side will just get plugged into that other end of wiring. Now we can take our white wire with the pre-attached ring terminal and the self-tapping screw and ground this out to our frame right here. It's pretty thick material. Hopefully this will bite and shoot through it. If not, we may have to come back with a drill bit and just pre-drill a small hole, but we'll try this first and see what happens. So once we have our wire grounded, we can start to route our wiring. I do want to mention I did break off a screw. For me, not really a big deal. I've got more here, but for those of you at home, that might be the only one you have that came with the kit. So might not be a bad idea to pre-drill, and just be careful working that screw in, especially when you get close to when it gets close to bottoming out. With that said though, our wire, we have a lot of wiring. Obviously, we don't need all this length, but we'll get it plugged in and then we can kind of clean up all this extra. But I'm just going to run this right over here to the back of our 7-way, and this just gets plugged in. I am going to add a little bit of dielectric grease to the terminals though. And what this is going to do is help prevent any corrosion or things of that nature. Get a layer on it. And then this is simply just going to plug right in. So I went ahead, used some of the zip ties just to secure our wiring, and this is how it turned out. But with this done, why don't we go ahead and test everything out now to make sure that it's working properly. I'm using a tester to do that. That way we avoid any issues with our trailer if it has any. And with our Ford here, we're going to be able to check our left turn, our right turn, our brakes, our running lights, and our reverse lights. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt 7-way vehicle wiring harness on our 2019 Ford Ranger.